You don't need to force your way through life. You can flow with life. You can ride the flow of life, and it feels very healing. It feels very organic, natural, authentic. It feels very good. Forcing is often just unconscious. It's tied into the ego. It's tied into the survival conditioning that we have, which is very unfulfilling. It's impossible to actually be authentic and build a real powerful life while always forcing, because authenticity is natural. Force, by its definition, is not natural. Essentially, if you want to let go of force, you need to actually start transcending the survival conditioning that you're stuck in, which we'll be talking about in this video. So force is intertwined with our lower self, our ego, or the survival conditioning. And why are we forcing? Most people force because, number one, it's just the default survival conditioning, which is dominating human consciousness. We're stuck in survival levels of consciousness, and we're not really going above them into self-actualization and self-transcendence. We're beginning to make that shift, and it's very necessary for the survival of our species and our well-being. On top of that, no one ever teaches anyone how to actually flow with life, how to self-actualize, how to self-transcend. It's not in school, it's not on the news, it's not in really social media. It's not a popular, very mainstream thing that everyone's talking about. You don't go to the bar and talk about self-actualization or anything like that. You go to the bar and you talk about sports or UFC or like political garbage or whatever. So most of mankind's consciousness, this is the next point, is simply too low to flow with life rather than force. We're always stuck in, again, survival conditioning. We're afraid. We have various insecurities, repressed emotions, wounds, traumas that are controlling us. And we feel like we have to force our way through life or else we're not going to get our needs met. So what is flow? Flow involves being in vibrational alignment with your true self. When you're flowing with life, you're not pushing and pulling and hyper attached to getting the thing you want. You're riding each moment, letting each experience unfold. You don't treat life as a means to an end, to just get what you want and need, but each experience you treat as an end. Right? This is it. This present experience is all that there is, and you're learning to be in tune with it, riding it moment by moment by moment. This requires a deep shift in consciousness and a regulated nervous system, which is not in survival mode, like I've said a billion times already, and not acting out of the cultural conditioning and survival conditioning that we basically have, right? I'm not going to say that anymore. So you choose alignment with your true self rather than acting from conditioning, and there's an energetic difference to that. There's a shift in consciousness and there's a shift in energy to that. So it feels counterintuitive and unusual at first because usually we're programmed at an early age and we're just growing up, and by the time we're 18, 20, whatever, 15, even 14, like we just start to, we're so conditioned that our natural self, it's buried under all this shit for the most part. It's shit. And essentially, when we're beginning to actually flow with life, we're in vibrational alignment with our authentic self. This brings up fears, limiting beliefs. This brings up a lot of the wounds that we buried a long time ago. Brings up reactivity, etc. So how is flow different from force? This is a fantastic question. So there's an energetic difference. They feel different. That's something that you need to understand, right? Understand that they actually feel different, and you need to learn how to tune into that. There's a felt difference between force and flow. Imagine forcing someone to be in a romantic relationship to you versus letting it unfold naturally. Very, very different, right? You can't force someone to be in a relationship with you. It has to kind of move naturally. If you force it, you just screwed every single thing. You screwed it up entirely. It's done. So essentially, instead of fear being the main motivator for your actions, which it often is, the motivator is simply your already existing perfection and wholeness. I don't mean that in a cheesy way. I'll be explaining it more soon. Essentially, the motivators become love, acceptance, presence, surrender, wisdom, and truth. There's a deep connection to your natural self that forms. A direct connection, right? A direct awareness of your natural self and a direct awareness of the conditioning that's usually running the show, right? And you're seeing the difference in real time, and you're choosing your natural self over and over and over again rather than your conditioning. So this perfection and wholeness that I just spoke about, this is existential. This is who you already are. You are pure consciousness. You are the source of existence. You are an expression of universal intelligence. And you're just acting in alignment with your natural perfection. So you're pure consciousness. You are the great perfection, as they say in Dzogchen, a Buddhist tradition. Right? So this perfection is just simply the nature of existence, right? And you basically are that under all conditions because you are existence. You're not separate from the nature of existence. You are existence itself. You are the true nature of existence. And realizing this involves releasing the illusions you have clung to and embracing reality without stories and mental filters. All the conditioning in the form of stories and mental filters that all seep inside of you, into your body, into your nervous system, into your subconscious. So what value does flow give to you, right? What does it give to you, right? But Lucas, what does this actually do for me? So back to the point. Why flow with life instead of forcing your way through that? So what value does it bring you? You don't actually want to force your way through life. Let's get this clear. Your real want isn't to force your way through life. Your nervous system is actually guiding you towards flowing with life, and it has a real, genuine direction for you that you need to actually tune into. It's giving you very intelligent signals that you have to follow and act on. Otherwise, you're just going to be scared and your conditioning is going to control you. So you don't want to force your way through life. It's suffering, right? Just straight up, it's suffering. That's what it's going to be over and over and over again forever. So flow feels organic, natural, and authentic. It feels true to who you are. It feels good. It feels you actually love yourself and honor yourself and trust yourself. And you're able to let go of control and let your natural self guide you. The flow of existence guide you. You let your nervous system's signals guide you. You let your body's wisdom and intelligence guide you. Rather than the fearful conditioning that your mind creates and all the tensions in your body and all that stuff, you're liberated from the survival conditioning. So it's that simple. Flow feels organic, natural, authentic, more true, more wise. There's an instinctual sense of, wow, this is amazing. This is closer to who I am than the conditioning. So we have to look into why you do what you do. So the purpose of most of your behavior is to get a need met. This is what's going on. The purpose of most of your behavior is that you need something for survival, and you're trying to get that met. The bottom line is this. You want to be happy. That's what you're doing when you're getting your needs met and you're doing X, Y, and Z. Basically, everything you do is so that you can be happy. You be happy by fully being yourself, by 100% embracing yourself in this experience right now, learning to love each and every aspect of yourself, listening to yourself, trusting yourself, becoming more conscious of yourself. That's really how you be happy, being in full vibrational alignment and acceptance of your whole self. Without that deep sense of self-love and deep sense of self-acceptance and self-trust, that's like the bottom layer of just being happy. That's the foundational point of just having a fulfilling existence. Good luck having a fulfilling existence while hating yourself. So loving your true self entirely is basically how you actually be extremely happy in your life, how you have a satisfying existence. What I mean by happy isn't that you always just feel pleasure nonstop, but that each and every aspect of yourself, every part of you is embraced and loved. You open your heart to expand, or you open your heart to include more and more and more of yourself and existence and reality, because, well, you're not separate from the external environment that you're in, completely interconnected and ultimately one with it. So you learn to love all that exists and see its beauty and place in the cosmic order. You expand your limited capacity to embrace life. Let me repeat that. You're expanding your limited capacity to embrace life. Right now, you're like, I'm only going to embrace life if I get what I want. And it's like, the things you want are like 5 or 6 things. And every other experience that isn't those things, you reject them. Or you're just completely indifferent to. You're learning to open up more to each experience and embrace them. So you must release the illusions you have believed to be true and deeply held onto for feelings of security. This is another very important aspect, right? So you expand your limited capacity to embrace existence and you're not endlessly fighting and struggling against it. And essentially, this is real maturity, right? Which can take some practice, development, and time. And it comes with challenges and requires real dedication. And it requires, like I said, the releasing of illusions that you've clung to for security. The illusion of a separate self. Various beliefs you have that are just false, right? You're turning your attention inward and you're questioning your own beliefs. A lot of people, they like to say, that government's full of bullshit and that's full of bullshit, right? Sure, whatever. turn that skepticism in on yourself. Not doubting yourself, but questioning your own beliefs deeply, deconstructing the beliefs you have, breaking them down and throwing them out. Beliefs are a substitute for truth. They are not the truth. There's a reason why the word lie is spelled in beliefs. B-E-L-I-E-F-S. Beliefs. So now let's talk about the practical stuff, okay? So what do you actually do? Lucas, I hear you. What do I do? Mindfulness meditation, that's very important. Pick up the books on my book list. Read the psychology books, the consciousness and spirituality books, the therapy and healing books, mindful movement, anything that promotes your ability to be clear and aware. Healthy foods in your body are very important. Anything that helps you to have great energy. Your path in life has to rejuvenate you. The work you do needs to feel like exciting to you and like you really love actually doing it. The relationships in your life are people you should want to connect with. They give you good energy. Essentially, the things that you're choosing in your life rejuvenate you and they energize you, and you're clear and you're aware of yourself. You're in tune with yourself. You're actually present with yourself and connected. You're in your body. You get into your body. All right, you deeply question your personal beliefs and you just let them go. Beliefs are a substitute for truth. And you get help from people. You actually pick up books and you just realize, I need help. You get coaches, therapists, teachers, books. You study it. Like there's no shortcut. You need to study it. There's nothing else you can do. You need to actually learn, right? That doesn't mean you just blindly accept stuff, right? But this learning is more of like a deconditioning process. You're learning things that break down the old conditioning and paradigms. My book list is full of great stuff like this. You're breaking down the ego. You're breaking down the survival conditioning. You're transcending that stuff. You're healing the old wounds. This is really what you're focusing your attention on. You're getting your mind out of the patterns that it's trapped in, which is basically just survival, cultural conditioning. So now let me explain the practical stuff, right? So you need to actually, through mindfulness movement, mindfulness meditation, feel the difference between force and flow. There's an energetic difference, which I spoke about earlier, right? You'll notice that through practices, again, like mindfulness meditation, mindful movement. You need to do this, practice it, and let that direct awareness and direct presence with existence, that direct contact with existence, feeling into existence and the experience itself. You're letting that deconstruct the illusions of your mind as well. You're letting that break down all the things you cling to and all the tensions you have. You're allowing that to just clean you, right? There's a spiritual purification process that's going on. Instead of the unconscious controlling you, the conscious mind, right? You're conscious of what you're doing and you're actually creating what you're doing rather than the conditioning controlling you. Okay, moving on. You need to do things that rejuvenate you and not things that drain you. Don't eat junk food, for example. Go for a walk in nature. What do you need? The best thing you can do is, what do you need in this moment? Right? What's the real need that you have? Do you need to just sit down and be and look at the wall and just accept the experience that you're having? Do you need to meditate? Do you need to eat food? Do you need to go into nature? Do you have to move your body? Do you have to stretch? Do you need to connect with people? What are the needs that you're having? What's your nervous system guiding you towards? What's your body guiding you towards? Right? So essentially you're doing things that rejuvenate you, not things that pull you away from yourself and disconnect you from yourself, like eating junk food, constantly scrolling on social media, abusing technology. Watch out for technology. That one's extremely dangerous nowadays. It's a big one. You need to deeply feel your body and not be numb. You have to get in tune with the felt experience of your body rather than being numb to it. Your body is what's really going to help you here. Your unconscious conditioning reveals itself through the body. Moving on, you need to learn from experienced people and receive their energy. You need a sincere heart. No way around any of these points, by the way. You need a sincere heart. You need to want truth and you need to be honest with yourself. This one is potentially one of the hardest ones. You have to be very sincere about this. You need a sincere approach to this. You have to want to really let go of the old conditioning of things that don't serve you and where you're closed and contracted and where you're stuck in just the ego and you're selfish and afraid and stuck, etc. You have to want to investigate that stuff honestly, seeing the truth of what's actually going on there and using that to liberate you. That truth is healing. Awareness is healing. Truth is just reality. Truth is what's real. That connection to what's real is healing. Where does this lead? Okay, where am I going with this work? Right? You wake up to the nature and fluidity of this moment. You stop living unconsciously and on autopilot. Again, your mind basically, it's the conditioning controlling you. It's happening on autopilot, right? It's just doing itself. It's like a zombie going through the motions, right? And you just wake up to the fluidity and nature of this experience. This experience is pure consciousness. You're the source of existence. You're God. You're the whole universe, oneness, etc. You embrace this moment extremely deeply. You break out of the conditioning, the stories and energies that basically make up and the stories and energies that basically make up all the beliefs around, who you think you are and what this experience is. You wake up from the dream that you're in. You're stuck in a trance, man. Reality's a dream. You actually wake up. You escape the matrix, as they like to say. You create fulfillment. You actually create real, lasting inner peace. You create a life that you love, because now you're in tune with what's real, with what's authentic, with what's true. You create a life that you actually love. You open your heart to more and more and more of life. Like I said, you're expanding your capacity to embrace life. You claim your power. You feel your power while also having an open heart. You don't let people push you around. You're able to assert yourself and get your needs met, and you do that with love and care and compassion and wisdom. You actualize your potential as a human being. You get your self-actualization needs met, your self-transcendence needs met, essentially. You get those higher needs met, which is where real fulfillment and life satisfaction is actually found. You heal the deepest wounds and find real freedom. You flow with life. You don't fight against it. You just simply surrender to it. Life isn't an uphill battle and struggle and war all the time. You actually begin to just love it, because it's so, this is universal intelligence right here. Right? This is God right here. This is the divine right here. The mundane and the divine are one. The thing is you're so used to the mundane, you take it for granted, and you have all the stories and beliefs about what it is that filters your view of it. You're breaking down the conditioning, the cultural conditioning, the linguistic conditioning, the emotional conditioning, the survival conditioning that's distorting your perception of life 24/7. You're seeing what reality actually is. This is what happens when you self-actualize and self-transcend. You're cleaning up your perception of life so that you're not stuck in the matrix again, as they like to say. You trust your energy's natural movement, and you don't let your conditioning run the show. I hope that stuff sounds pretty good. That's it for this video. If you want to work with me one-to-one, you can apply to do that. Link is in the pinned comment. We go extremely deep into this self-actualization, self-transcendence work. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, comment, all that stuff helps me out a lot. Take it easy.